for Jesus Warriors Club. Today's topic is the frogmen. It's very interesting that a man can be called a frogman. To many of the laymen, people are not interested in knowing what happens around. They may not be aware. But those who are interested, there are people who put on special suits and carry a gas cylinder, and they're able to stay underwater for missions, for scientific discoveries, and sometimes for rescue missions. They put on flippers on their feet and some others on their hands, and on their feet, and gloves in their hand, and a complete suit. They can stay down the water for a long time, so long as the air in the cylinder is still there. And when they're under the water, mostly this cylinder produces bubbles as the air is escaping when somebody breathes out. These are called the frogmen because they appear like frogs, they move like frogs. It is a man's invention on how to survive under the water like a frog. It's interesting because these people are trained in the Navy and also in some special forces. They are also trained, and some civilians take it as a recreative activity. Frogmen dive into the water, and sometimes they are sent on missions. So when they are sent on missions, it may be a long mission. You come by submarine, then you come out of submarine. You can go like a frog, perform in the frogman's suit, perform the mission and come out. Or sometimes if you are needed somewhere else, you may have to get off those clothes, go to land, perform a mission, come on, put in those things, get into the submarine under the water, and nobody will notice your presence. I'm talking about this in reference to the victory speech I had from the president who won again, who was given another chance by his people, the president of Uganda, thanking his people and telling people that there was around 10 million people who did not come, but he has a very light support. It is evident from the results, one cannot doubt. The Ugandans have spoken, and the world and everybody has to respect. The Ugandans spoke. So, as I was listening to that speech, I also saw a speech within the speech and was able to compare with other East African countries. He started by thanking everybody. That's normal. At least for him being an elder statesman and having known about the situation, he was able to totally contain with the people of Uganda that they had a totally peaceful election. I remember the Kenyan one. We had a peaceful one that degenerated somewhere there, but also by God's grace it was peaceful. I remember the Tanzanian one, also something of the sort happened. But eventually peace prevailed. Peace prevailed. It was taken care of. So we learned the importance of taking care of our peace during election time, during any other times that the country is performing. And then I heard him talk about the procedure and the way people came. And we also looked at the procedure. And in East Africa is very interesting. There are always complaints. Even if you are beaten by a very big margin, there are always complaints. It has happened in Kenya. It has happened in Tanzania. It had started happening in Uganda. But the Ugandan people have stood firm and said, no, we've done our part. Nobody is supposed to try to say something else because they have done their part. We are happy for them. What they speak, the world follows because it is their right. They have spoken. As he was making a speech, he talked about the vision. It was the most interesting vision I've ever heard being said in East Africa. The Tanzanians had theirs. I can talk about the Kenyan one. The president assured people about houses, and they are building houses and markets and roads. It's happening. Tanzanian one also had his own promises, and they promised to work together with the people. In fact, even after that, everything was working on the ground. A very organized system too. And this one was shocking because it had things that are being done presently, which are shocking. We didn't know that Uganda has gone that far. We were surprised. Uganda is making electric motorbikes. Uganda is making electric cars. Uganda is making their own cars, their own buses, their own. It's wonderful. An achievement that they have made. Interesting. Then the future, the things that they intend to do with the oil for posterity. The way he intends to have Uganda having their oil and other investment last to the future. It was exciting. Something out of the ordinary. It is the first. We didn't know. Uganda is far ahead. We didn't know. Now, on finishing that, we also realized that also with our Kenyan, we had such a things, but not cars and everything about houses and markets and this. And there is the Tanzanian one also. Then there is something he talked about. And this is something that African countries have to look at. This idea of foreigners penetrating within our systems and trying to cause chaos during elections. In our by-election, we had that. There were chaos. Every part was blaming the other, but they were chaos. But the only good thing that happened, the Electoral Commission stayed steadfast. Otherwise, they could be bearing the blame up to now. They were able to contain themselves. Things happened outside, but they stood firm and they were able to prove that nobody brought any ballot boxes inside. Nobody did anything because it's done in one place and counted in one place. They were above board in that. It saved the situation. But nobody knows who was instigating violence out there. The same violence that has been instigated here appears to be taking the same format, to have taken the same format in Tanzania when elections were done. And it was supposed to take the same format in Uganda, but they stayed overboard. The way he said in his speech. The Ugandans who were being asked to do that reported to him and said they will not do that. Interesting. So from that you realize there is a penetration of things from outside. Many of these chaos we get are not our own chaos. They are not of our own making. So we have to realize that there are also outside forces that are interested in pushing our politics, our life in a certain system. And he talked of forgiveness, which all the presidents talked of. And the understanding that this country is ours, Uganda is theirs, Tanzania is theirs, Kenya is ours, and we're supposed to protect it at all costs. There was talk of sabotage. It happens. And talk of violence being caused by people being given money from outside. Sometimes it's done by people infiltrating from outside. You may never know who infiltrated from where. And things happen. Because he talked of a place where they were to happen and they realized, and it was put to a stop. So it happens in all the countries. Our youths are mostly influenced. We would wish that we are able to do things peacefully. That is something that is stressed on. That is something that we as the citizens of those three countries should look at. Let's not be influenced by money. The country is ours. When there are chaos, some of us die. Why should we die for something we have done? And if it's counting, and we get to know? Because not your candidate must not always win. What happens is democracy goes with numbers. That's what happens. You may love somebody too much, but if there are few other citizens who love that person the same way, the person will lose in the elections. And you should not take it to a violent place, because the few of you got your say, but the majority got their right. That's what happens. So we should learn that, because when a president has been chosen in, there is nothing special that he'll say now, this one is to be done for this community, that community, or this, because we did that. No. He takes everybody, those who lost and those who won, as the children. He becomes the father of the nation, or she becomes the mother of the nation. So she takes care of you equally. So once these things have been counted and it has been proven that is those are the results, the best we can do as people in East Africa is to embrace the winner, because the majority have spoken. That's what democracy is, majority. If the majority wants somebody, no matter how much you love another one, if you have few, that is the deciding factor. Seriously, that's how it is. That's what democracy is. So, talked about milestones that the Ugandans plan, the investments, and what was sweet to hear is that he had the other countries in East Africa in his mind as he was planning. He talked of them doing business, and many of the people, because of the oil and because of hard work, he was saying now 75 of the Ugandans are in the rich bracket. We are also praying that things and the economy pushes us up to that level, and Tanzania also. And he was saying when money comes, then the purchasing power increases, but also the production increases. So he talked of something good. He said he's been talking to the president of Kenya, His Excellency Kipchirchir Samoei Ruto. He's been talking to the president of Tanzania, Her Excellency Suluhu Hassan, and him being His Excellency, the elder statesman, has been talking about cross-border business, a very good thing. Now Kenyans, Tanzanians, you don't have to go far to look for vehicles or motorbikes, get them in Uganda. Here, get them in Ugandan money. Go across you don't have to look for dollars for what? Cross the border, get Ugandan, the ones you have been, buy them. Even those in Ugandan money, bring them. Because they are making. And if they are making, we are the market. How sweet that you will drive a car made in East Africa, or a motorbike rider, motorbike made in East Africa by the Africans themselves. Beautiful. So he talked of cross-border trade. And we said Africa is really blessed. Africa is really blessed. And when he was finishing, he talked of peace within the region, people working together. And to me, that was music, because Africa has proven. There was a time when there was a song that I talked about God saying, amefanya jambo, by a Kenyan musician. God has done something, ametenda. And God has done something beautiful. In that music, the lady who was singing ended up, she was expecting to be expectant, but when she woke up, she wasn't. But in this one, East Africa has given birth to technology. Wow! Oh, na ametenda Mungu. Aya. See, God has done it. Yeah. Look for that song, Kenyan musician celebrating. With us, we've had that opportunity. Ametenda Mungu. Ametenda. On the internet, just ametenda Mungu, or whatever it will come, by a young lady and a young man. I don't know why the name is mixing up, but that's the. It tells what our dreams have been, what our African dreams have been. In a marriage or whatever, you expect in political, in growth, you expect you will give birth to something. To her, the first song was when she woke up in the morning, there was nothing. But now, we have realized our pregnancy. East Africa has given birth to industrialization. That's what we wanted. Now, with the same vigor and the same determination, elder statesman, push it to Africa. Push it to Africa with the others. Mutende jambo. Mungu ametenda. We thank God for that. Now, with God's help, mutende jambo. For Africa, let Africa give birth to economic development, for industrial development. Yes, it will not just be a pregnancy that will wake up in the morning and there's nothing. Let's give birth to that. I talked about something, operation, codename, Vanya, or Ivan, Vanya. By God's grace, what you have done to Uganda, extend it to Africa. That is my take for now.